Hey dolls, welcome to the StarrStruck interview with me, Adam Starr. Today we are talking to the funniest guy I know, Mr. Matt Slack. He has done some incredible things in his career, from TV to film to Matt Slack off the telly. He's done some incredible things, and I cannot wait to talk to him. And when he's here, thank you, Dom. When he's here, I'll add him in, and we'll chitty chat away. He is one of the nicest guys that you could wish to meet and spend your Christmas with. He's brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll wait for him to join, and then we'll add him in. How's everyone's day been? I've been to the farm today. I have took my godson to the farm. We had a lovely time. We saw a deer. There you go. So we'll just wait for Matt to join to see if he's here. Robin, I've changed my top because, you know, I'm a professional. Matt's not here yet. I saw him in Panto in Birmingham, my hometown. Yeah, he is. He's incredible, Jaden. He is an absolute treat. So when he's here, I'll add him in. But yeah, it's gonna be dark now. It's gonna be dark, but very exciting. I saw Matt consistently for 6 years in Panto. My family adored him. And then, luckily enough, I got to dress on the Hippodrome pantomime, and I didn't get to dress Matt, but we crossed paths backstage, and he's just an all-round good guy. Matt's joined us now, so what I'll do is I'll add him to the conversation, and we'll chat away. Show me Matt Slack.
Oh,
babe, you're on the.
oh, hang on, Adam. I've not done this. Hello. I'm really crap at all this.
Right. So
I can I do it on my iPad or not?
Yeah, of course you can.
You said I can't do it.
I didn't
Jess.
say I can't.
Jess.
Hi.
Why is he gonna play me?
She said I couldn't do it on the iPad.
Hi, darling.
Right, well, we'll just.
Domestic violence. It's gone up.
No.
Oh, that's a joke, by the way.
You're not
So
the
what-
right way around.
Now,
Hey,
what are you on now?
I'm on my phone.
Right, just turn it the other way.
All right, but I've got to hold it then.
Oh.
Oh, hang on. Don't matter. Like that.
Hey.
He was using a gadget.
I was using that.
Oh, babes.
You use one of these, don't you?
Back. Are you all right?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm well. I'm all the better for seeing you. If you
Oh,
want to put it somewhere, balance it. You want to balance it?
yeah.
Right, we'll wait.
Hang on. Sorry.
Take your plug out.
Why did I just do it on my iPad? Do it that way. Can I do that? Oh,
I love this.
I won't go. Hang on. Oh, sorry.
Matt, it's fine. I wouldn't expect anything.
This is the BBC, isn't it?
This is the BBC. We are live.
Is this Sky News?
This is Sky.
Is that better?
There we go. Oh, Mr. Slack. I have had an absolute joy today looking through your back catalogue and the many things that you.
Looking through my what?
Your back catalogue.
Oh, sorry. Wait, where'd you get them pictures from?
We'll jump straight in, Matt. Matt, what was the first show that you ever saw live?
First show I ever saw live. Oh, blimey. Do you know, in all honesty, mate, I'm not really. I was never the theatre goer.
Yeah.
You know, I was the bloke in the pub. You know, just is that better?
Look, you've got a whole team there.
Yeah. Makeup, wardrobe.
Wardrobe.
Just get me a gin and tonic. Yeah, I was never really a a theatre person, so I can't recall from years ago, you know, if I ever saw a show at the theatre. Thank you.
Thank you, lovely Jess.
Sorry, I'm
No
exhausted.
worries. I'm going now.
Yeah, bye. Sort me dinner out. Good girl. Oh, can't say that anymore. I do the cooking. Well, I do the chopping. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I can't recall the first of the show. What I will say is what changed my life pretty much forever was when I, in Torquay, where I'm originally from, I went to the Princess Theatre and I saw Blood Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, and for me at the time, I'd had so many people say, "Oh, you'd be good in that. You'd be this and that." And so I thought, well, I've got to go and see what this show's all about because I've heard so much about it. Bear in mind, I was a comedian at the time, doing the rounds, doing holiday barks, doing support for you know, the likes of Bradley Walsh and stuff like that, and doing all right at it, you know. So I just went along to see this show, and it absolutely blew me away. And it set a little spark. In fact, Adam, I think this was after I'd done Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a bit confused these days. But that was the show that really sort of stands out, if that answers your question. Blood Brothers was a huge inspiration. Obviously, you know, I got to play it 6 months later. I was in the show.
You first performed as a young boy, or first time you knew that you could hold people's attention? Was it at school, at home, or
school? Yeah, definitely at school. I was. I mean, I was quite quiet at sometimes. I'm a bit like that. I'm an extreme sort of mixed personality. I've got 1 minute I can be the extrovert and be the centre, and the next minute I can be the one in the corner going, "Not tonight, thanks." You know, well, you know, you seen me when I'm backstage going,
yeah,
you know, giving it all out there. I come back in the wings and collapse. But I think at school I was the joker. I was the always doing impressions and you know, things like that. That's what I think at first sort of that was installed in me from a very young age. I remember doing impressions for the family, and it was always impressions. You know, I used to started off doing with mimicry and just doing different impressions. Back in the day, it was like, you won't remember this, but it was like people like Eddie Waring and anyone who's older watching. He used to be the rugby commentator. David Bellamy was like, "Well, what am I going to Lenny Emery used to do it on Tiswas and things like that. So I used to copy them really, and that's when it first sort of started.
And what was your first like paid gig? Whether it be a comedian, your first time you went on stage, you performed and you got paid for it, whether it be a drink, whether it be £8, what was it?
Sedgley Working Men's Club.
Near me?
Is it? Were you there? You weren't even born.
No.
Yeah, you probably weren't born. Yeah, Sedgley Working Men's Club. That was my first paid gig. Back in 1995, I'd been a blue coat and an ents manager for Pontins, and I entered in 95. I entered Starr with the Stars, which it was a very well established big talent show down in Torbay. Nina Mishkov used to be one of the judges, and I entered that and I won it, and it was incredible for me. You know, just sort of starting out. You know, and then that following year, up from that, I got there was a Midlands-based agent, Paula. I can't remember the agency now, but and sadly she's no longer with us. I don't mean she lived here. I mean she's passed on. Obviously, sorry. And so that was my first paid gig. I got 150 quid. No, 125 quid. I think I got.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
What you wore, Matt? Did you wear a suit and a tie? What did you wear?
I wore a red jacket that I picked up in Jersey when I was a blue coat. Proper cabaret style, you know, back in the day. Red jacket. I had then like a black satin kind of shirt. It was full on ladies and gentlemen, it's Matt Slack. Proper camp comic kind of thing, you know.
I adore that, Matt. Being in, were you in Boogie Nights in London first?
No. Shane Ritchie, good old Shane. He co-wrote the show with John Conway, who dear John Conway, producer. He was a producer back in the day with Kudos Pantomimes, and he's gone on since to do other stuff. So I go back a very long way with John, and I know Shane well also because we've got the similar paths of blue coats and blah blah blah. Yeah. So Shane did it originally in the West End. Then when it went out on tour, Shane did it. I think he toured with it, but then Sam Kane. Remember Sam Kane?
Yeah.
Linda Lusardi's husband. Sam Kane! He shouts everything he says. Morning, Sam. Would you like some tea? I'd like a coffee, please. He sings everything. Anyway, he played Roddy. And then I was asked to go along and to join the show by John Conway. And at the time, there was a character in it called Dean, who sort of played the love interest. He was the DJ. And I said, yeah. So it was my first sort of move into musical theatre. And I went in, I used to warm up the audience about 5-10 minutes before the show started. And that was me being the comedian. And it actually, in one review, it said, make sure you get there well early so you can see Matt Slack open this. So that was a nice little compliment. Yeah. So I was the understudy. There was a time that Sam went off, I went on, and apparently I did all right. And I kind of liked it. And I said to him, don't come back. He didn't like that. Anyway, so the next tour, Sam turned it down. He had other things going on. And I was offered the lead role of Roddy. And I absolutely loved it.
For people who don't know, I would say it was like before my jukebox musical. Was it at 70s?
Yeah, 70s, yeah.
Big 70s music. Matt, what were the audiences like? Because I bet it was catnip for hen parties and... Oh,
God, it was electric. It was, I was, what age was I? Around 33. Yeah, it was 2003, I think. 2003. So I was 33 years old. I was in good shape. I've still got good arms. But I was in really good shape, and I just started to lose my hair. So it was going a bit thin, because Sam Kane used to point it out every show. Which really, not on that. Anyway. So I wore a wig, so I had real 70s gear. I had the platforms, which are actually at the Opera House in Blackpool. I remember coming the dressing rooms are up loads of stairs, and I was quite late, so I rushed down I heard Matt Slack to the stage, Matt Slack. I thought, oh Christ, I'm late, and I went to go down the stairs, and I slipped on these platforms, and I went all the way down, and with your fingernails, I was reaching both sides of the stairs. I had paint in my nails as I scratched. Yeah, it was horrendous. But the audiences with that show, because it was all the 70s music. I used to do a Rod Stewart medley in it, which was electric. We would sing a lovely adaptation of Sorry, Elton John. So it was there was a very loose story, but around that it was all the hits. I Will Survive and that kind of thing. So it was a jukebox kind of thing, but it was a great, a very easy listening, a very easy understandable story that you could go along with. But they absolutely loved it. The audience were well up for it.
What I've heard and when I've seen, I didn't get to. It is just that. It's just a big dose of nostalgia. It's not trying to be Brecht. It's you come, you just have an absolutely cracking time. Being in that show, what were your favourite moments, whether it be an acting scene or a certain song? What did you enjoy most?
You keep cutting out for some reason. Don't know why. Is it all right? You keep. Oh God, hello. I've gone all funny.
You're fine here, doll.
Is it all right? Oh yeah, you keep cutting out. I've got you though. I think it was a mixture, mate. To be honest, because I've been a comedian, and I'd always set out to be an actor.
Yeah.
I always went, well, you know, it's just a sort of stepping stone to eventually become an actor. I loved there was a couple of scenes that were slightly dramatic, and I loved it. I just wanted more of them. A lot of people would think, oh, surely it's the YMCA send up and I'm like, well, no, I can do that in my sleep, you know. I just put a funny walk on, and I know I can get the laughs. But the dramatic scenes, I wished there was more of them, and that's where I sort of thought, no, I want to do more of this. But I loved it all, and I was fortunate enough, you know, to be able to do it all. I loved doing the big dance routines. I was doing lifts. You know, I never danced before, and I certainly can't now. Well, I can, but everyone loves it.
Another random tour, another brilliant show that I saw was you in Hot Flush with Leslie, and it was such. I think I was the only person there that didn't own a vagina. Not on me that day, but it was such the collective riot, and not just you play one role, Matt. You play the male role.
Yeah.
The husband, the vicar.
Yeah, the pervy vicar. Mrs. Johnson, hello. Are you ready? I do hook you up. Oh, it was I played. I think it was altogether. I think it was 17 different characters.
Man.
And it ranged, yeah, like you say, from an Aussie barman to a lechy old vicar, which was really. I mean, I took it to another level. It was pretty rude. And again, Sam Kane had done it before, so he'd found a lot of the comedy, because Sam did a lot of comedy back in the day, and he found a lot of it. So I stepped into a lot of it, and then I sort of made it my own as well. So it was a gift. It's a gift of a show. The audience loved it. Very scary. I did stand up in it as well. You know, at one point I'm stood there with a leather gimp mask on and some leather pants and, you know, welly boots, being whipped. I mean, it was just a riot, and the women loved it, and the odd man that was in the audience, they loved it as well. But it was scary. Yeah, just you. It was scary when you stood there in front of, like, you know, 1,000 women.
Yeah.
Who've all had a couple of white wines, and they go, you know, for me to stand there and have a pop.
For someone like Matt, who I feel like a like that is madness, playing arts. How did you as an actor? How did you go and try and nail those roles? And that people say, oh, it's just comedy, but it's so much more than that. You have to have a complete idea of these people. So, what was your process?
Oh, totally, yeah. It's still, you know, without getting too deep, it's still it's a craft, and the thing is, you make it look easy, because if you're good at it, it looks easy, you know. So, my process was just, I don't know, it just, to me, mate, a lot of it comes naturally to me. Finding those characters, like when I say, right, I've got an Aussie barman, I just pick out an Australian accent, and then I make it a sort of an extension of me, really. Yeah. You know, I had a blonde highlighted wig with the Aussie barman. He was like, "Good day, what can I get you, mate?" You know, it's all that kind, and I just sort of played myself with a wig, and the job's there. Yeah. The pervy old vicar, that was just very Dick Emery. Do you remember Dick Emery?
Yes,
I grew up with Dick Emery, and he was just a master at those sort of comedy characters. He was like the original Harry Enfield, so to speak. So I sort of picked up a lot of things, and I just sort of go with it. So my process is, a lot of people, it's like if I'm doing an accent, I'll pick someone who's got that accent, and then nick their accent and then put it to the character. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So are you more of so if when you get a script, Matt, you'd read the script, but you wouldn't start to do it until you were in a rehearsal room, like would you already have cogs working? No,
I would already start sort of. When I'm sort of looking at stuff, I have it in my mind, and I'll see. I'll see pictures of how I think I'm going to do it, and then the physicality comes, and it just comes out. It's like an improvisation. You know, if I get into a character and all of a sudden it just starts.
Yes.
And I'm you know, and that's been instilled in me, I suppose. You know, people say, you know, why don't you do the stand up? And you know, when you see clips of Robin Williams when he used to go off on one, you just think, oh wow, he was incredible. And I had not that I'm comparing myself with Robin Williams, but I had that kind of ability to just sort of, it would come out, but I never sort of pursued it enough, just enough to earn a nice living, but not to sort of exploit it too much. But yeah, again, it just sort of it takes over and it just comes out.
The incredible show you did was Mrs. Henderson Presents.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's an incredible show, and it's talking about war, but you were the comic, which that show at certain points so deeply. How was it being in that show? And were the gags, could you change the gags, or were the gags already?
Right. It was very, very difficult job to do this, because I was asked by Michael Harrison, who was the producer, to go over to Toronto to do it. So I went and see it in the West End, and when I first saw it, I thought, what a brilliant show! It was very cabaret-esque on the theme of the war and whatnot, but because it was about this theatre, London theatre, variety and old school, it intrigued me. And I'd seen the film, which I love, with Will Young, and just really, really loved it. So I went to see it. I was really impressed by the show, but I thought this character, and I saw the understudy at the time, because the main guy was ill, and I just thought something's not right. So I wasn't too sure at first. I thought this needs fixing. So anyway, I thought, well, I came up with a few ideas and said, well, maybe we should play it like this, and maybe this would help it work, because it didn't really know where it was going. This character, he starts the show, he comes out, and he's a very cheeky chappy, very kind of Max Miller kind of, here lady, here's one for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the Windmill Theatre. Boy, put the binoculars down, you don't need it. It was all that kind of stuff. So I sort of took that, and we did it in rehearsals, and everyone was going, that's great, that's working really good. I put some of my own material and changed our own ideas, and changed with the help of the director and writer, obviously, with his what's the word, approval, and just we sort of adapted it. But when it went out to Toronto, they couldn't get it. They didn't get the accent.
That was my question. Was going to be, what was it like doing a British show in Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, great to go out there, great experience, but they didn't get the accent. Or if you're speaking like a Cockney old comic, you know, it was very, very quick talking, and they couldn't understand. So I had to slow it right down. It wasn't that they didn't get it; they just couldn't. It wasn't that they wasn't enjoying it. Rather, they just didn't get it. So I had to slow it right down and go, here's one for you, and be a bit more articulate, and change the whole performance as I would have done it in the UK. So I adapted it for the Toronto audience, and once I made that little tweak, it went boom, and it was a lovely show. So a great experience. I hope that answers the question.
As well as doing things on stage, Matt, you've also done things. I mean, you've done some incredible things on telly. I was researching today, and I saw you in Casualty, and about your daughter who was there. Matt,
Sorry, mate, you broke up. Do that again. Say it again.
So I was watching. I was researching you today, and I was watching a clip of you in Casualty.
Yeah, Casualty. Yeah.
And that incredible, that credible monologue that you have about how your wife left your daughter. Yeah. It was breaking. So when it goes into something like that, how do you act what's the difference, the main difference, Matt, for you working on stage and then working on screen?
Right. I find it quite, not easy, that would be an arrogant word to use, but I feel it quite comfortable to transfer from what I do on stage. You know, I've got the teeth for it. That's panto. That's drama. Drama, panto. That's why I didn't get my bottom teeth fixed. So I think with Casualty, I'd done an episode where I was the guest lead on Doctors the year before, or a couple of years before.
Stress.
Say again.
With post-traumatic stress.
Yes, yeah, and I loved it. I loved it. It was really good, and I hope I did the subject justice, and I was very proud of it. It's on it's on the show reel. But with Casualty, I just read the script straight away, and I could I was very familiar with the predicament. I've been in that predicament myself with the breakup and having a daughter, so it was very close to home, and I tapped into it very, very easily. And I just like the drama. For some reason, getting laughs, being able to make people laugh, I think it gives you an added sort of tool to be able to pull on heartstrings and to go to that sensitive place, and that's something that I really love doing. Even in panto, you've seen it. I like the pathos, and I like those scenes. So yeah, I just took to it. It was a great script, a great story, Casualty, and a BAFTA-winning drama, and to get the guest lead on an episode was I'm very proud of what I did on it.
An incredible thing you did, which some people would give their F test. You were a repeat guest on EastEnders Maths.
Yes, I was, mate. Yeah.
So what is it like being in EastEnders and at one point arresting Danny Dyer for soliciting a prostitute?
Yeah, that was a bit mad, actually. Old Danny Dyer. We had a good day filming that. It was great when I first got. I was on tour with Hot Flush, actually, and I was asked to go in and read for this copper. What's the name of the character? Preston. Was it Jazz? Greg Preston. Was it? Matron's in it. What's the dinner, matron? Can I have a soap tonight? Thank you. Yeah, PC Greg Preston. So I read for it. I went for it, and then when I got the news that I got it, I was like, "Oh, it's fantastic." I mean, an iconic, soap drama like that. I was over the moon. It was like, yes, brilliant. And it just a couple of lines here and there. But I was asked back, and of course I got mates at EastEnders. Steve McFadden. Oh, hey, Matt, got a job. Well done. I watched it. It's brilliant. Brilliant. The way you nicked it was fantastic. So yeah, it was just a great moment in my career to say, oh, how cool is that? I'm playing a copper in EastEnders, and then I all in all, I think I've done about five or six episodes, and they kept sort of bringing me back, and I was hoping that it would sort of develop to maybe a regular, and that was on the cards at one point. But unfortunately, the chief exec at the time, he left, so that sort of slipped me by. But what's meant to be is meant to be. At least I had a taste of it, and you never say never. It might be a chance of coming back in the future as a different character completely. But it was a great experience, mate, and I love playing it. I've got that copper kind of look. I just wanted more. The scene when I nicked Danny Dyer was great, but I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah. I'm not just a copper. I did the Musketeers for BBC.
Yes.
And that was brilliant. And I'm just like, please give me more.
Yeah,
let me get my teeth into something.
Another huge thing you did, Matt, you were part of Blood Brothers for so many years. Tell me, as a fan of that show, you were a part of closing the London production. What was it? Was the building palpable?
Oh, it was. After doing it for so many years on tour, 3 years, five tours, being part of the show, which was UK and Ireland, and then to be asked to go into the West.
All right, love. Just froze a bit. Wait. There we go. It just froze a bit. It's coming back. Yeah, I can see her. Yeah, I can see her. Ah, ah. I tell you what, Matt. Matt, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna cut you from the conversation and then add you back in. There you go. Back to normal.
That better?
Perfect. So,
Yeah,
Matt,
it went all funny. Sorry.
completely cut off. So I'll just repeat the question. You were in the final night, the closing night of the incredible Blood Brothers. What was it like being in the building?
Oh, you've gone again. Hello.
Hello, it's fine here, Matt.
Gone.
Hold on. How's that?
That's a bit better. It's still a bit yeah. That's hopefully. Did you get the question out? Sorry.
Yes, go for it.
Right. I'll just keep talking, and if it doesn't come out, then come round and we'll talk about it.
Matt, we can hear you. Go for it.
You can hear me, okay? Yeah, I did the last. I did six months at the Phoenix Theatre, West End, and the last 2 weeks, like I said before, I'll repeat it. We rehearsed with Bill Kenwright directed, along with Bob Thompson. So that was a great experience, just to be directed by Bill. And some of the original cast members had come back for the last 2 weeks, and it was, I mean, incredible for me to be part of that. That closing of that show after 24 years, to be on part of that stage and to see they had a screen at the end, which is on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see all the actors, so many brilliant actors, so many have been on that, involved with that show. It's an iconic show, and it's a shame that it's gone. But I'm so glad, and so I feel very privileged that I was part of the last time it was in the West End. But who knows? Maybe it will come back.
Definitely.
But it was incredible, an incredible moment, really was.
It was, and I think that it's so lucky you're part of that.
Oh, very lucky, mate. I mean, if I'd have, because they asked me to do the West End before, because after I did the tour, I went through a bad time, went through a divorce, and and it wasn't a very pleasant experience. It's a horrible thing to go through. So I'd sort of they asked me to do the West End before, and I was like, no, I'm not in the right place, So I turned it down a couple of times. Thank God I didn't the last time, because had I known it was going to close, it's your last chance to do it in the West End, and it was the best move I ever made. I loved it. We had such a good laugh. The cast being in one place, being in the West End was just great. I loved it. I had a real laugh as well, backstage, even though it's a very serious show. Yeah, but we had a great, it was a great team, and we had a great time. So I'm very, very lucky to have had that.
Matt, you are pantomime royalty. There's no way about it. 7 years with what favourite pantomime? Not the production, story.
Favorite story. Oh, God, this is it. People ask me this all the time, and for me, it's very difficult to narrow it down, because I love all the stories. I mean, Cinderella has got to be the best story.
It has.
Because it's magical. However, and Buttons is, you get the pay. However, for me, Snow White that we've just done last year, that story, because it's got a bit of darkness and you know what I mean. So, and then Peter Pan, I love the swashbuckling kind of stuff from Peter Pan. So that's very difficult question for me to answer. I love all the stories because I'm passionate about all the stories, especially if you really go into the story and give it little twists here and there, like we did with Snow White to make the prince at the apple. And you know, well, you can't do that. Well, why not? You know, girl power and all that. It's very popular.
Matt is the funny man. You have funny bone. You are incredibly funny. What is the hardest part for you about doing pantomime?
The hardest part, obviously, the performance twice a day is exhausting. To keep that going after such an intense rehearsal period, especially last year, I directed Got One in Cardiff.
Yeah.
So I was exhausted from doing that. So I sort of, you know, and it's such a such a short rehearsal period for the show, and to get it up on its feet and up and running with such a big show, that in itself is hard work. 2 shows a day. I'm not going to lie, it's exhausting. But for me, I think the hardest thing is the preparation. The hours that I spend, the weeks that I spend sitting down, sat here and thinking and trying to put pieces to a puzzle. Sometimes new pieces, a lot of the time new pieces that I've no idea what's going to happen. That's hard, but it's also extremely rewarding. But it can be painful at times. I'd say that's the hardest thing. But it also has the most reward when you see something that works.
Yeah. And for you, as well as being an incredibly funny man, you have funny bone, you also seem to always set yourself challenges. Like this year, you had a pitter-patter song.
I lost you again. Sorry, love.
It's all right, doll. I said you always set yourself challenges.
Yeah.
Like this year, you set yourself the pitter-patter song.
The Pitter Patter song. Oh yes, yeah, with all the yeah, and I just thought, well, because it was the 120th birthday celebration of the Hippodrome, you know, I put my heart and soul into it. I don't just turn up and go, you know, where's my costume, where's this, where's my lines, what do I say, where do I stand, cha-ching, thank you, bye-bye. I don't. I work bloody hard for what I get, you know. Because I am passionate about it, and I want to give the people sat in that auditorium, I want to give them the best experience. And when you've reached the heights that you think you can't get out, you've got to do it again. So I just thought, well, what a great opportunity to do that song. And it's been done before, but I sort of made my own collaboration of it, and as I always do, always make it your own. You can get influenced by other people and other ideas. That's how the world works. But always make it your own. So that's what I did, and I just thought, what a great way to celebrate the 120th birthday. And it went down a storm, but it was a bugger to learn, and it was very hard during the show I go, right, I've already done that. Now I've got to do this, and I had to be on it every show. It's yeah, it was full on.
3 years. Matt, what is your proudest achievement in your pantomime career?
I think the proudest moment in my pantomime career, I think when I was given the name on the seat, you know, L15. Is it L15? I don't even know it. I should do.
Yes.
I think it's L15. When I was given that was a proud moment, but also I have here, I think this is one of the proudest moments. This book is the Hippodrome 120. And sorry, you might just drop there. Wait there. The phone might go a minute. It's balanced. So I was given it when I hosted the 120th sort of celebration party, and I was very kindly given this, which is written by David Roberts. So, David, if you're watching, thank you. And he gave this in the dressing room. It says, "To Matt, comedy king of Hurst Street, best wishes, David." And this celebrates all the people that have been in on the Hippodrome stage. Frankie Howard. It goes through all of it. Bruce Forsyth, blah 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 blah. You know, the Beatles. There's loads of the history of the Hippodrome. And there I am, right there. Let's have a look. I'm here somewhere, I think. And let me find. I am there somewhere. Michael Harrison's there, the producing director. I'm here somewhere. Anyway, I can't remember now where it is, but I think it's. See if I can find it. There it is. So on page 105. Can you see that? Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry. So that's the picture there, and it says. Let me just read it out. It says. Taking up the slack, the Hippodrome has seen some great pantomime clowns and comics, but surely none has earned the affection of audiences more than Matt Slack. He started his career in 1993 as a Pontins blue coat, breaking into cabaret and holiday venues, terrestrial and floating. His first pantomime appearance was in Worthing, where he played the jester in Snow White. Since then, he's been in Blood Brothers, EastEnders, and 6 Hippodrome pantomimes, bringing his amazing timing and agility to Silly Billy Smee, Idle Jack, and other rogues. Unlike some comics, he's also the life and soul of the company backstage, and when he feels the love of Birmingham audience on his first entrance, he's been known to well up a bit. And that's true. And I'm well up now.
Couldn't agree more, Mr. Slack.
Yeah, right. I think that's a very proud aspect to have that in the dressing room, to read that it fills me with a lot of pride.
Matt, we're going to try and do some quick fire questions, but I know that the connection is shit.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. I don't know what it's.
Ready?
Is it you? Go on, sorry.
Hot or cold?
Cold. Oh, no. Both.
Walk or run?
Walk.
Dance or sing?
Dance.
Give or receive?
Sweetheart. Give. Say again.
Meat or veg?
Meat.
Night in or night out?
Night in.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, that's a hard one. I always start the day with tea.
Play or musical?
Musical.
Lily Savage or RuPaul?
Oh, Lily Savage.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Beyonce or Celine Dion?
Oh, Beyonce.
Hugs or kisses?
Hugs.
Day or night?
It used to be night. Now I think it's more day.
Stephen Sondheim or Andrew Webber?
Sondheim.
Bernadette Peters or Patti LuPone?
Who? I'm not very clued up.
That's the best answer. Matt, what is the best performance you've ever seen live?
Beverly Night. Thank you, Jess. Beverly Night.
Go to shower song. What do you sing in the shower?
What do I sing in the shower? Normally, I'm rehearsing whatever I'm doing in the panto. So last year it was Desicon and Number Wisdom, but they get to be the gay Barbara Windsor, Bonnie like the Beryl Reid and Mary Lynn and Jimmy Young and Judy Gull and just Karen Danny Kit. Yeah.
Do you have a dream role within the musical theatre realm?
Within musical theatre. What? Oh, Les Mis. What's Javert? Oh yeah, no. So Master of the Airs. It was, Yes, Thenardier.
Biggest onstage mishap for yourself?
Oh, when I got knocked out. When we were doing 12 Days of Christmas once, and the cloth, the kabuki cloth, came down, so I run into it and fought. All unrehearsed, obviously. So the crew would always set something behind there as a joke, you know. So the cloth comes down, and they're all stood there going up a ladder, and one's, you know, and they'd set Paul Zerdin's entrance was a Dodgem car, and they'd set it upstage right by the cloth, too close to the cloth. So when I fell through, I went bang, smacked my head on it, knocked me out. I was unconscious, properly gone for a good, you know, 2 hours. No, I was out for about a few seconds, and I came round and still got a laugh.
Do you listen to a cast album? Any musicals that you listen to?
I love it. I love listening to Les Mis. I'm always listening to Les Mis.
Matt, what's your favourite sweet?
My favourite sweet? What, as in dessert or?
No, as in like corner shop sweet.
Refreshers.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Month of the year.
Favourite month? It's got to be December for me.
Favourite smell?
Smell? Jesse's armpit. Smells like Balti. Curry. Balti.
Favourite sound?
Laughter.
Favourite drink?
All of it. I'd say, yeah. Oh God, I love everything, but I do love a whiskey and a brandy. Yeah.
Favourite movie?
Favourite movie? Too many to mention. I think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is one of my all-time sort of favourites.
Matt, I asked it to everybody, but I'm going to ask it to you as well. Me and you are in a time machine. We can go and see any performance ever in the history of the world. What are we seeing, Matt?
I'd like to go back to see Michael Jackson at Wembley, because I went to see him at Wembley, the Dangerous Tour. I was a massive fan back in the day, regardless of all the controversy about him.
Yeah.
As a performer, he was absolutely a god. And I was there at Wembley when he cancelled. Literally stood there 8 hours, and this guy came and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Starr, Michael Jackson will not be performing today." I'm like, what? And yeah, so we all had to go home. But I did eventually go back and we saw it. And so I'd like to revisit that. That was fantastic.
Perfect. Matt Slack, you are a dream of a human. For people, for someone who became a fan and now hopefully is a friend, it has been, you are just as wonderful as people think you are. From the stage backstage, you've had us all in hysterics. You are a fan. The last question to you, Matt, is what would be the name of the biography?
Matt Slack, not just a funny man.
Lovely. Matt, give my love to Jess. She's a diamond.
Oh, well done, mate. And listen, Adam, you're a lovely man as well. And that's genuine for everyone listening. He's a lovely, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this.
Thank you, Matt. Matt, have a lovely rest of Tuesday.
And you, mate. Top man. Stay safe. Lots of love.
Bye. Wash your hands.
Everybody.
Bye. Bye.